First impressions are everything. When a person looks at a person or place for the first time, they automatically form judgments. It's just a part of human nature. Sometimes assumptions are accurate, but a majority of the time they are not. When looking at a person, people automatically assume a variety of things, such as the individual's race, ethnicity, and behavioral traits. Unfortunately, this can lead to conflict. An individual may be bothered by the perceived characteristics formed by others. While every group of individuals that share common traits have conclusions made up about them, this video will focus on the views of whites formed by others' standpoints. Within the last few seconds, you have seen pictures of different individuals and groups of people. While listening to the words, you were simultaneously making a guess as to what race you thought these people could be classified as.
Describe a scenario where someone has mistaken or questioned you based on your race.
Well, one time I was on vacation and I got extremely dark because that's easy for me, and I was in line for the bathroom and I said, "You can go ahead," and she looked at me and goes, "Oh, you speak English?" And I just was like, "Yeah." And then another time, even just being on Ball State's campus, people ask me what my ethnicity is.
And how does this affect you?
Well, when I was little, I got offended by it, but I'm so used to it now that it doesn't bother me at all.
What ethnicity do people commonly mistake you for?
People usually mistake me as Hispanic or Native American, and then sometimes when I come back from vacation or in the summer, even African American. But really, I'm just half white and half Italian.
In America, oftentimes, whites have more opportunity solely based on their race in the workplace. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the race with the highest percent employed is whites at 61. Our unemployment rate is 3%. While African Americans have a 52.5% employment rate, their unemployment rate is 6.9%. Oftentimes, when we're going in for an interview, when the two candidates differ in race, one being African American and the other being Caucasian, the odds are higher for the white American solely based on race.
I think whites have an advantage over first impressions.
Usually white people are associated with professional jobs and higher education, higher wages.
I think some unfair advantages that whites have over other races are when it comes to like jobs and like in the workforce, because if someone hires like a person of a different color, usually they make assumptions about their race and like how hard they're going to work, so usually they get paid less.
In America, people of other races aren't given as many opportunities as white people are.
I feel like there's always going to be racism. I don't really have an opinion about it unless like somebody come at me backwards.
Less permanent than it was like back in the 50s and 60s with the civil rights movement, all the way up and probably until even the early 2000s, just because people in the world like have become more open-minded to like everybody else's feelings and like other people's thoughts and all that. So like it's not as like I said, forward permanent, but like it's not completely gone. Racism's always going to be around. You can just never get rid of it.
I believe that any form of racism is wrong and that everybody should be treated with dignity and respect no matter what color they are.
Racism is everywhere, and it won't be stopped until people stop seeing people as a color instead of as a person and who they are inside. And it's really hard to get past racism because it's sometimes it's subconscious and you're not even thinking about it, and you catch yourself saying, "Oh man, that's racist." But there are a lot of different things for a lot of different races. Like every race has their own stereotypes, and it's really hard.
Yeah. And
I have heard a lot of people call others dumb blondes, which in many cases, this is not true. Some of the smartest people that I know are blondes. It's not fair to classify these people as dumb.
Some stereotypes that I hear about white people are that the white men are overpowering and controlling, and some stereotypes about white women are that a lot of them are dumb and they all do the same thing and act the same way.
meet you where you.
When you first saw us, you were probably thinking basic white girls.
You thought this because we had Uggs on, leggings, our sorority letters, and we're carrying our phones in Starbucks.
It's not fair that you draw these conclusions because girls from every single race participate in the same activities. Although we may all come from different backgrounds, everyone is the same. Every group of people has a stereotype formed, some accurate and some inaccurate. We realize that it's human nature to form opinions based on first impressions. However, we should not let that be the determining factor as to the way you treat or act towards the individual.